Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from TLB6 and for the Islamic Finance assignment of case review, we have choose a recent case which is Credit Guarantee Code Malaysia Sdn Berhad and Clean Image Sdn Berhad. And for our group member consists of 3 people. Firstly, me, FATIN DALILAH binti BADRUL ZAMAN, and next Hasanatul Husna binti AZLEE, and lastly NURUL NASUHA binti AHMAD SABRI. We will be starting first with the facts of the case. Firstly, in 4 August 2017, the plaintiff had given the first defendant an 3 million ringgit Islamic financing facility through the Bumiputra Islamic Murabaha Commodity Project Fund. However, in 31st December 2020, the first defendant defaulted to pay back the plaintiff. Later, in 8 February 2021, the plaintiff issued a letter of demand for repayment due under the facility as well as late payment penalties from 1st January 2021 until the date of full payment. And according to the Rule Order 14 of the Rules of Court for 2012, the plaintiff requested summary judgment against the first defendant for the defaulted payment. And in their affidavit opposing the application, the defendant said that the financing agreement between the parties was invalid because it did not follow Sharia law and that the plaintiff had failed to present papers proving payment by the Public Works Department for the plaintiff. So, there are 2 issues that the court needs to determine in this case, which is firstly, whether there is any meritorious defense against the claims of the plaintiff, and second, whether the agreement is null and void because of the allegation of Sharia non-compliance. The court in the judgment allowed the plaintiff's application for the summary judgment against the defendant as the defendant failed to raise the triable issue in this case. As for the ground of the judgment for the first issue as why the court allowed the summary judgment, because Order 14 Rules 1 of the Rules of the Court 2012, the summary judgment shall be granted only in simple and clear cases where the defendant has no defense. If there is question that should be tried in court, a tribal issue, or if there are other issues in the dispute that the court should look into, the court will dismiss the application. And the court referred to the Bank Negara Malaysia and Muhammad Ismail and others, where in this case, if the defendant wants to fight the plaintiff's request for summary judgment, he must show in his affidavit that there is a question that needs to be decided in order to have a full trial. However, in this current case, the court found that the defendant failed to raise any tribal issue against the summary judgment on him, and there is no meritorious defense as there is no sufficient documents or detail to withstand the application, thus closing the path to a full trial.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am NURUL binti AHMAD SABRI. Now I will continue this presentation to the judgment for the second issue, which is whether the agreement is null and void because of the allegation of Sharia non-compliance. Okay, in this case, the court had referred to few cases in order to come into the best decision. The first case that has been referred by the court is the case of JRI Resources Sdn Berhad. In this case, it is stated that non-Sharia compliant fees will be generated if the agreement in Islamic finance and Islamic banking fail to comply with Sharia principle and ruling. And the other case that has been referred by the court is the case of Bank Islam Berhad, Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, and Liam Kokhi. In this case, it is stated that it is not compulsory for the agreement to satisfy all 4 mazhab to be considered as acceptable as Sharia compliance, because as you all know that Islamic law is not limited only to that 4 mazhab, but there are many other sources of Islamic law. In the current case, the court found that the defendant adduced nothing to support their claim that the plaintiff had provided the non-Sharia compliant banking facilities. Moreover, the court is not the Islamic financial institutions that has the power to ensure that Islamic banking and Islamic finance are in compliance with Sharia, as stated in Section 28, Subsection 2 of the Islamic Financial Services Act 2013. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Hasanatul Husna binti AZLEE. My metric number 1192103. So I will continue for the part of commentary. Based on this case, the concept of Sharia compliance must be implemented in any Islamic banking and finance industry, as the Sharia principles and rules deemed to be the pillar of the said industry in order to validate the profit and practice of the said industry. Based on these two provisions, Section 28, Clause 2 of the Islamic Financial Services Act 2013, the duty of Islamic financial institution is to guarantee its operation, business, affairs, and activities are in compliance with Sharia. In other words, Islamic banking and finance industry must ensure and ascertain its operation in accordance with Sharia rules and principles to validate its legitimacy of practice and profit. Secondly, Section 56 and 57 of the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 2009, Sharia Advisory Council had indispensable role and authority for the determination of Islamic law for purpose of Islamic financial business. In simple terms, Sharia Advisory Council act as predominant body to supervise and determine on any deliberation of Sharia matter relating to Islamic banking and financial business. Accordingly, any practices of Islamic banking and finance industry that was discovered to be non-Sharia compliance may result its operation to be null and void and affect the reputation of the Islamic bank and diminish the confidence of the customer towards the bank. So that's all from us. Thank you.